Well, welcome back. I hope you're having a wonderful day today. So today we're going to talk about the power of practice. It is one of the keys to reaching your goals. It's key to your success. So if you're not practicing what you have been planning, I want to talk about doing so today because it's so imperative that we implement, practice, practice, practice. Practice makes perfect. We heard that growing up. Remember when we were kids? Okay, I'm dating myself for those of you who understand this, because I understand they don't do it anymore in most schools, but we had to write our multiplication tables over and over and over till we memorized them, right? We practice, we practice, we practice. And we just thought about writing out our multiplication, or just thought about, well, I wonder what if I wrote 9 times 9 down. I wonder what that would be. And we didn't practice memorizing it. We would have never achieved it, right? So think about, what is it in your business? What is it in your life that you need to step out and step into and practice? Because there's a difference between reaching your goals and just thinking about your goals. You want to get in a place where you are practicing what your goals are, practicing the implementation part of your goals, and making sure that you are striving for progress, not for perfection. And oftentimes that is what inhibits so many leaders in reaching your goals, is that we're so focused on being perfect and getting it just right that we never start implementation, because we get stuck in that planning phase. And so oftentimes progress, when we think of it, seems so far away because we're so busy thinking about, how do we get there? Well, just think about part of that and then take a step forward, take another step forward. It would be just like me telling you, well, when I climbed Mount Kilimanjaro, I reached the summit by just planning for it. Think about, well, obviously we had to plan for it. We had to think about all the key things that we needed. We had to practice. If we hadn't practiced to get to the summit, we would have never reached the summit, because our bodies would not have been ready to. In business, in our personal life, whatever, reaching our goals, whatever our goals might be, personally, professionally, spiritually, we can't just think about what that plan is and make plans and improve the plan and improve the plan and improve the plan. We have to start practicing the plan. And then as we do, that gives us the opportunity to evaluate it. Then you can do a little more planning to make sure that your plan worked. But oftentimes we're so worried about what people think, and what if I fail, or what if the plan doesn't work? Well, then that's okay. You know what won't work, so that means you know what does work. So I'm going to encourage you, think about people like Edison. Edison, how many times did he try? He had 2,000 attempts before he perfected the filament in a bulb. So use him as an inspiration. Practice it. Think about so many of the world's billionaires. How many times did they file bankruptcy? How many times did they have businesses that fail? The reality is, when we fail, it improves our next step. And so don't be afraid of failure. And oftentimes that's why people do not practice, is because of fear. And so if you're struggling with fear, get a great coach, get in a mastermind, work through it, go to the scriptures on fear, whatever that is for you. We have a whole program in Masterpiece Women and in our Rainmakers membership as well, that are specifically about fear, overcoming fear. One of the greatest books, I believe, and practices to overcome fear are Think and Grow Rich, because it changes your mindset. So much of that is a habit, and perfectionism is a habit. So if you force yourself today to take one step forward and practice your plan, just one, and then the next day take one, and the next day take one, suddenly your habits change. And that's really, success is nothing more than a few simple disciplines practiced over and over and over. and you get better and better and better. And just recently, one of the things that many of the women in our groups have talked about is their fear of being on social media, their fear of doing videos. It's very scary to them. And I can understand that. It was very scary to me when I first started doing them as well. And the reality is it took practice and more practice and more practice. And I often tell people in my video, the first videos I did in our membership groups, they're not the greatest videos in the world. I'll be the first to tell you that. But you know why I've left them that way? Is because I want all of you to know you don't have to be perfect to be able to make an impact. The teachings are good. The content was well studied. The content is impeccable. However, some of my videos weren't the greatest because I didn't know how to do videos. And even to this day, I saw a video that I did the other day, wasn't perfect. And there was a side of me that, oh, maybe I should record it again. But it was with an incredible speaker. And I thought, no, you know what? It's okay. It just shows the authenticity of just who I am. We're all real. So I just encourage you, people actually gravitate more to people who are bold and willing to go out and take a step in bold faith than they are to people who are scared because they have to be perfect. So I'm going to encourage you to go start today, whatever it is that you're working towards. I think about oftentimes as, Les Brown, one of my favorite people in the whole wide world to listen to. He's so encouraging, and he's just taught me so much over the years. He says it repetitively over and over. He says, everything we do is practice for something greater than where we currently are. Practice only makes for improvement. And he emphasizes over and over how important it is to just go do it scared, whatever that is for you. Are you scared of doing videos? Are you planning a business and you are afraid to go do it? I know just recently I spoke to somebody who is wanting to build an online business, and she says, well, I don't have a big circle of influence. I don't have a lot of followers on social media. I don't know how. I don't know how. Those were the constant words. I said, but what is it that you do have? And what is it that you do know? And she started sharing, well, I do have a lot of friends, but I haven't really added them on social media so much. I do have people in my church and in different places that know me. I said, well, why don't you start making a habit? Practice adding 20 people a day to your social media, just that one act. And sure enough, she has, and she started implementing that every day. And I challenged her to do 2 videos, and she's doing that. And suddenly her platform is building. And I'm going to just say how proud I am of her, because she stepped out in fear and she did it anyway. And she is stepping into that CEO role. She's getting people to help her do the things that she needs to do. And she's growing like crazy. And I'm just so proud of her. And so if that's you today, if you're saying, well, I want to build an online platform, but I just don't know how. Well, hop into our membership. We have 30 days free. You can check it out. You can go there. You have to get the tools, yes, but don't be stuck in that stage of just learning. That's another big hindrance. I meet with some leaders in a group, and a year after we had taken a course, actually it wasn't a year, it was about 6 months, we were having conversations about the implementation, and many of them, since 6 months later, still had not implemented. And when you ask them, well, why haven't you implemented what you want to achieve? Start, at least do it, move. Well, I don't want to look bad. And it's that fear of, what if I get out there and I look bad? What if I do not resonate with people? Well, how are you going to know? How are you going to know if you don't try? And so I really have been encouraging them, and we only meet every few months, but I said, you have to implement, you have to start practicing. And many of them, it's a key, once again, going back to building an online platform, you can't do it nowadays without video. So if that's a fear of yours, I'm going to encourage you, do 2 videos this week and just get brave and put them on social media and watch how you can start adding value to people. The best way to build business in this economy is to build your influence, build your ability to speak into people's lives. People want to work with people that they love, they know, they trust. And when you're on social media, they get to know you. Now, are you going to attract every single person? No, but you're going to attract the right people. You're going to attract your avatar. So learn who your avatar is, and then practice making videos that you believe will go and influence your avatar and add value to them. Jack Kornfield says this: through practice, gently and gradually, we can collect ourselves and learn how to be more fully with what we do. Does that resonate with you? When we practice, we learn how to be more fully with what we do. We will not be able to do anything unless we practice it. If we want to do it well, we have to practice it. So I'm going to encourage you today, make sure that you're doing that. So one of the other key things that we want to talk about in regards to practice is that you want to think about it from a perspective of, you want to practice till you get it wrong. So you're going to try it, you may fail. Try it, you may fail. Try it, and success happens. So if you keep trying it and you keep moving forward, and you go with the mindset of, you know what? Even so, let me give you an example of this. This is a perfect example. When you're doing direct sales, you know that you're going to get no's, and that's okay. You cannot take in any sales, actually, as you're a salesperson, say you're making cold calls for a business and you're anticipating getting 25 no's and 1 yes. Well, but that 1 yes is huge, right? So what makes it any different in any other platform? When you're doing sales, you have to just practice and practice and practice. And I know, for instance, one of my daughters, she was in direct sales for a company who sold advertising, and they're selling to small businesses every time. And she's like, I just keep calling and calling and calling. And they just keep talking and talking to all these different people till the one says yes. Sometimes it could be 20 and 30 no's. If you can change your mindset from practicing until you get it right to practicing until you get it wrong, then you go into it with, oh, well, you know what? It's okay if I mess this up because I'm just doing it to practice. And so try whatever it is. And if you are in sales or if you're trying to build your business online, make sure that you are taking the time to make those phone calls, to make those texts, to reach out to people, set a goal for every day. And say, for instance, you do 20 calls a day, you do 50 calls, whatever that is your goal, and change your mindset. Don't worry about what they think. Don't worry about the outcome. Just concern yourself with the practice. You're just doing it for practice. And suddenly the fear goes away too. When you come at it with that mindset is, I'm going to do it till I fail. And you just keep doing it, and you just keep doing it, and you just keep growing. And suddenly you're not scared to do it anymore. Suddenly you're comfortable, because no matter what it is that we're implementing, the more we do it, the more comfortable we feel. If it's videos, I keep going back to that because so much of sales are on social media platforms now. When you think about 30-some million people have moved over to TikTok. So you need to be on TikTok if you're not. You need to be on Facebook if you're not, because people want to experience things. They're not just looking for an advertisement anymore. They're going to TikTok. They're going to social media to learn things. I know just recently, a friend of mine said, well, I was looking for a recipe, so I just looked it up on TikTok. I thought, TikTok, I never ever thought about looking for a recipe on TikTok, but people want to see it. They want to experience it. They don't want to just hear about it. So if they're looking for your services, you want to share your services with them. So think about what it is that you want to share with people and get out there and share it with them on social media. Get out there and share it with them, whether it's phone calls or it's text or it is on a video. But I will say to you, most importantly, when you're practicing your videos, you're practicing those phone calls, you're practicing the text to engage people, build relationship first. People want to do business with people they know that care about them more than they care about what you know. They care about how they want to know you care about them. They want to know. So start with questions, start with engaging, learning your audience, making sure that you are adding value, making sure that you understand people. Don't ever forget that when we're building social media, when we're building our businesses, we're in sales, that we are thinking about the other person. What is it that they're looking for? What do they need? How can I solve their problems? Because if we can take whatever our goals are and think about others first, and then implement the practice of practicing our business in a manner in which adds value to others, and understanding who it is that we're talking to, understanding who it is that we're serving, it is just such a powerful outcome for you. So it all goes hand in hand. So the more you practice, the better you're going to be. The harder you train, what happens? The more people are going to see the greatness in you, because the more you do whatever it is. Think about a football. I've been watching a lot of football. I don't know about you, but it is college football season. So I'm trying really hard to get engaged in the college football. My husband might like argue with me on that point because he doesn't think I watch enough. But so think about these teams. They practice, they practice, they practice. They watch what the other team does, so they know what it is that they're good at. They know their strengths, they know their weaknesses, they know the plays that they do. And when they're practicing, they practice to implement the game. What do they call them? The game practices, whatever they're called. The plays, that's what they're called. They practice that so that they can overcome their counterpart, right? And the other team, so they can beat them. Well, if they didn't practice that each time, do you think they could just go into a game randomly and figure it out? No, they learn who their opponent is. They learn what it is that they need to do, and then they practice repetitively. You even watch your kickers. They're kicking throughout the whole game. They're practicing, 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 getting help. Part of that is getting their mindset. Some of the practice, they may know those plays. They may be very strong. They may not even physically need the practice, but mentally we need the practice, because the more we practice, the more confidence we get. So it's both. We're building our skills, but we're also getting the confidence, because as we move forward and we're achieving even the small victories each day, it changes our lives forever, and it helps us to get to the goals. And success is just one step at a time, just like climbing those mountains. It's one step at a time. It's just like when we're implementing healthy eating practices. It's so important that we take one thing. If you struggle, if you're like me and so many others around the world, where you say, okay, I'm all in or I'm all out. When I'm eating really good, I'm eating really good. When I'm eating bad, I'm just, oh my goodness, can be terrible. And so I'm working on each day going, okay, what can I do differently? This morning, I wanted a biscuit, but instead of having a biscuit, I had a bowl of oatmeal with some raspberries. So just taking that one thing and making that one wise choice. Instead of having a Diet Coke, I had water, and just taking one step at a time, and each day trying to practice a healthy habit, practice another healthy habit. Well, suddenly they become your normal habits. And the opposite happens if you start practicing the negative habits and you practice another negative habit, then suddenly that's what will take over your life. So if that has happened to you, just stop, forgive yourself, let go. Don't say, oh, I'm so bad, because we often say that. And I'm guilty of saying I'm bad. I am not bad. I am good and I am victorious. And I will conquer these bad habits, whatever they are. And we can change our habits. We've talked about that a lot on this program. And so if you're struggling with bad habits of eating or any other bad habits, focus on practice, practice, practice. 1 or 2 key things every day. More water is a great one to practice. The more you drink water, the less hunger you have. Oftentimes, if you will wait 15 minutes from the time that you're wanting to stick something in your mouth, it will go away. And if you're drinking water and it's in replacing that hunger craving, then it will go away. Oftentimes, if there's definitely some great things that you can do to help with that as well, in addition to supplements, different things. I won't go into that on this podcast, but there are some great products out there and great things happening out there that you can help overcome that with. But just implement 1 or 2 things. Increase your water today and choose, instead of the thing with sugar, choose something that maybe doesn't have a lot of sugar, and let that be your practice today. And when it comes to working out, what can you implement each day? Even if it's 5 minutes of exercise, grab it, take 5 minutes. We have in our membership, if you're part of our membership, there's some really good, very quick little exercises. And we did that because when you're a leader, you want to focus on everything. It's not just about building business. Yes, we want to be successful in our business. We want to be successful in our ministry. We also want to have healthy physical, emotional habits, because that makes our entire life better. It makes our business better, it makes our families better. When we're better leaders, when we're more in control of our conscious decisions, we can control our behavior at home, we can control our behavior at work, and we can lead better because they see us practicing what we preach. They see us practicing good habits, caring for others. And so let's choose today to practice so that you win, so that you're victorious and successful in whatever it is that God's calling you to do. And if one of the practices that I know a lot of people aren't very good at, especially when it comes to leadership, is time management. We're not going to go into that today, but if that's one of the keys, or if it's fear, we're going to put a couple of links down below to help you. One is on time management, one is on fear, to help you overcome both of those so that you can step out and practice, 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 implement whatever it is that God's calling you to do, and go forward and have great success. So have a wonderful, wonderful day. And I look forward to being with you again very, very soon.